now.
We have new details this noon. What sounds like a rolling shootout between two cars leading to a person dead. It happened on the northeast side where police found the aftermath of the shooting and a car crash.
Officers tell us the trouble started when people in two different vehicles began shooting at each other. It happened near Roundtree Lane, not far from I-35 and North Weidner. When police got to the area, they found the victim in the street and a gray vehicle that had crashed through a fence. The victim was taken to the hospital where he later died.
Witnesses told police that they saw bullets flying between a white vehicle and a gray vehicle. The driver of the white car took off before police got there. It's not clear what sparked all the shooting.
And we have an update on another shooting. Officers now say someone was trying to rob a victim before gunfire erupted on the north side.
SAPD says yesterday a suspect demanded the victim hand over some of his property near Broadway and Loop 410. Police tell us the suspect then fired at the victim as the person was trying to get away. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
And so far, no one has been arrested.
San Antonio firefighters say it was hot wax that led to burning flames inside a business at a far northwest side apartment complex.
They say it caused minimal damage, but still there was a lot of commotion in that area. Katrina Weber tells us why, in spite of all the action, people who lived there felt no need for alarm.
From the first wail of the alarm, more than a dozen San Antonio fire units headed to the Tribute at the Rim apartments. Among the buildings where people live, crews zoned in on a place of business in the 8,000 block of Worthy Parkway. Inside this nail salon, they say hot body wax ignited, then spread to some boxes. The fire caused damage inside the shop and signaled trouble throughout the complex by setting off the alarms.
Because they've been going off like this for a while.
Spencer Davis made the most of the early 6 a.m. wake-up call and took his dog for a walk. A lot of his neighbors, though, stayed in place. Some watched from their balconies as fire crews quickly put out the flames.
As firefighters rushed in, some people who live here barely moved a muscle. And that was even as the alarm system was going off. But some told me they had a good reason to turn a deaf ear to it.
They've been doing tests from it. They've been telling us that throughout the day we might hear the fire alarms going off.
Davis says the property also is plagued by false alarms.
I think it's just happened so many times that a lot of people assume that it's just another test or it's another malfunction, so nobody really takes it seriously.
Even though there was real trouble this time, no one was hurt. But Davis worries that might not be the case in the future if the sound meant to alert people to an emergency continues to ring out all the time. Katrina Weber, KSAT12 News.
Now this morning, we asked the management company of that apartment complex for a comment regarding the alarm system.
And the apartment complex eventually issued this statement in the last 30 minutes. It says in part, quote, "We are grateful no one was injured during the fire in the retail space. While it is true the fire occurred during the time that the system was being tested for annual inspections, it did work as designed," end quote.
Outside with Live Cam, this is just about your perfect day. You can't get much better than this in December. This is what it's all about right here.
It is nice. Blue skies finally. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen that. Temperature is going to be near 70 today. So that aspect of it is nice, but a little windy. And of course, the wind brought in mountain cedar. We'll talk about that later. Numbers aren't great. But we see the clouds are shifting out. We're getting more sun as we go throughout the course of the afternoon. And again, it will be a comfortable day. The forecast calls for temperatures to be around 69 2 o'clock, 70 by 3 p.m., 70 at 4 p.m. Northwesterly winds still a little bit gusty at that time. But by dinner time, these winds are really starting to calm. And once we get calm winds tonight, clear skies, dry air, you know what that means. We're going to get some chilly temperatures overnight. By tomorrow morning, I think we're in the 30s here in San Antonio. Not a freeze, but upper 30s as you head to work and school tomorrow. As I mentioned, the wind's calm. 30s for many of us by tomorrow. What about a cold Christmas? We're going to look down the line. I'm sure you've read at least a little bit on social media about the potential for some cold air. But when does it arrive and what does it mean for our Christmas forecast? We'll talk more about that here in just a few minutes, guys.
Look forward to that, Justin. Thank you. The handler who cared for and watched over Chucky, the K9 that was shot and killed while on duty, told jurors what happened at the scene after a chase with Matthew Morales. The jury is hearing more testimony in court today as Morales stands accused of shooting and killing Bexar County K9 Chucky. BCSO Deputy Kevin Rasmussen testified yesterday about his partnership with Chucky and how in the quickly changing standoff, he was unable to reach the gear for the dog. If found guilty of the charges, Morales is facing anywhere from 25 years to life in prison. Right now on KSAT12, you can hear more from Deputy Rasmussen's testimony about the moments his partner was shot.
Some parents and some kids in the Schertz-Cibolo Universal City ISD may still feel a little bit on edge after a student brought a loaded gun as well as knives to a district elementary school yesterday. This happened at the Rose Garden Elementary School around lunchtime. In an email that was sent out to parents afterward, the school's principal says a third grader was showing off the gun to another student during lunch. A teacher was notified and was able to find the student, then take the gun away that was wrapped up in a piece of clothing along with 2 knives. Schertz police were called to the elementary school right away. No one was hurt. Schertz PD says they're now working with the Bexar County District Attorney's Office to determine if charges would be filed against the 8-year-old student or the child's parents.
The newest elected official in Uvalde has taken her seat with City Council. Eloisa Medina took the oath of office during last night's meeting. She represents District 3, the seat once held by former Uvalde CISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo. Arredondo surrendered his seat after not attending 3 consecutive council meetings following the shooting at Robb Elementary.
Our housing market may be in for some good news next year, at least here in San Antonio. Home sales anticipated to climb 2.5% next year, with average prices increasing by 4.6%. That's according to Realtor.com, who analyzes home sales and price data for the nation's largest metros. This prediction growth in pricing could mean a rebound for the San Antonio market after home prices declined 5.5% since this past June. We have a full story. You can find it on KSAT.com.
But hold on, after 4 straight 3/4 point interest rate hikes, the Federal Reserve is set to announce a smaller half-point increase in its key rate today. At the same time, the Fed is expected to signal that it plans more hikes next year. It's part of its effort to combat the worst inflation bout in 4 decades. And most economists think Chair Jerome Powell will stress that the Fed will likely keep its benchmark rate and its high point through next year, even after the hikes have ended.
The disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried behind bars in the Bahamas. He is facing more fraud charges here, though. The former crypto firm CEO now fighting extradition from the Bahamas to the U.S. ABC's Justin Fentz tells us why he's accused of what he's accused of doing and why it may just be a matter of time before he does face a U.S. court.
The Senate Banking Committee convening a hearing Wednesday focused on cryptocurrency and the collapse of leading crypto firm FTX. Millionaire investor Kevin O'Leary testifying.
In fact, the recent collapse of crypto companies has a silver lining. This nascent industry is culling its herd.
Hours earlier, disgraced former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried led away in handcuffs after a Bahamian judge denied his bail, calling him a flight risk. Bankman-Fried now attempting to fight extradition back to the U.S., where he's facing civil charges from the SEC and 8 counts of criminal fraud filed by the Justice Department, including money laundering and wire fraud.
This is one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
Bankman-Fried, known for donating millions to Republican and Democratic political candidates, also accused of campaign finance violations. Federal authorities estimate FTX customers were defrauded of more than $8 billion. At its height, FTX was valued at $32 billion. This investor says he lost more than $2 million.
What happened here was an outright case of fraud.
He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research.
But in an interview with ABC, Bankman-Fried denied knowing FTX funds were diverted to his own hedge fund.
I don't know of FTX deposits being used to pay off Alameda creditors.
The magistrate judge in the Bahamas has ordered Bankman-Fried to remain in jail in that country until February. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
And the UTSA Roadrunners are getting a pretty high compliment from the coach that they are about to face Friday in their bowl matchup. We got that for you coming up.
The San Antonio Police Department is working to get presents to those in need this Christmas, and there are still ways you can pitch in. We're going to explain after the break.
The Blue Santa program is an effort by the San Antonio Police Department to help local children across our community. And these officers work hard to collect, pack, and deliver presents to thousands of local families.
Max Massey got an inside look at the Blue Santa warehouse, and he spoke to some of Blue Santa's helpers.
Because I love it. I mean, you see a lot of happiness and joy when you give somebody something and they're like, you know, it's the biggest thing in the world, and it's a stuffed animal. And it means a lot. It really does. So that's why we do it.
Manel Orozco has been helping with Blue Santa for the last 15 years.
You're making their moment maybe be a day, that special day. They wake up and they receive these toys. It's an over-emotional feeling, and they enjoy it. And it brings a lot of satisfaction.
And Manel and all the officers here packing bags.
We are here for our community. We protect and serve our community. And doing things like this, I strongly believe it strengthens our relationship with the community. It builds that trust, it builds that confidence.
And Blue Santa's warehouse is full, helping thousands and thousands of children across our community. And they have everything from Buzz Lightyear to even bikes.
Right now, we're over 5,000 kids. I just looked at the numbers yesterday. We're over 5,000 kids and over 2,000 families. So, and another 500 or more to go.
Once these bags are packed, they're sent to the substations and then delivered to families.
The officers, in between their calls, they can deliver the toys.
If you want to step up and help out, there is still time.
Sometimes we do lack donations. We're always welcome. We're donations of any sort.
We have all the information on how to donate right now. Just head to KSAT.com. Max Massey, KSAT12 News.
If you've been so tired of the nasty weather and the drippy weather and the humid weather, here you go.
Yeah.
All gift wrapped by Justin Horn for Christmas.
You put a red bow on that or a green bow?
It's nice, isn't it? This is a good present. I'll take it. Other than, as I said earlier, the gusty winds, which have led to the pollen count milking some of the aquifer's fine. It's holding steady at 637.2, but mountain cedar high, 2,510, highest count we've seen this season. Molds are also high, so it's a double whammy. I know there's a lot of folks at home sniffling and sneezing, and this could be why. We're going to talk about when mountain cedar lets up, what does the rest of the forecast look like, and what about rain chances this weekend. The latest coming up.
Now this is picture perfect. This is one of those days where you get your lunch and go outside. You don't eat inside because
don't we have a meeting this afternoon? Let's move it outside.
There's a picnic table right out there.
It's not a bad idea.
Perfect.
Yeah. A lot of people be doing that today.
Yeah, well, I would say enjoy it because as we look down the line, it looks like we're going to get some colder air as we head towards Christmas. So if you're a fan of the warmer type weather, the sunnier weather, yeah, today and tomorrow especially are going to be great days. Right now, we're sitting at 69. Dew point is at 29, so way low. Northwesterly winds at 18, and they've been gusty. We've seen some gusts up over 20 miles per hour. Here's a look at the wind gusts. If you're heading outside, know that it is going to be breezy, if not windy, for the next several hours. Look at some of these gusts. 35 in Hondo, gusting to 19 in Bandera, gusting to 20 around Bernie, gusting to 31 miles per hour in New Braunfels. That's that northwesterly wind, and you know what that's doing. It's ushering in that mountain cedar from the hill country. Not ideal, but these winds will calm some tonight. I think by dinner time, you'll see a lot less wind. And in fact, the winds may go calm overnight, which is going to contribute to some pretty chilly temperatures. Mountain cedar forecast, yes, it is at 2,510 and high today, but our forecast calls for less wind tomorrow and not a northwesterly wind. We're going to see more of a light south-southwesterly wind. So by our estimations, mountain cedar should fall. That's kind of the idea. We'll see where it lands tomorrow. Meantime, temperatures today will eventually make their way up to around 70 or so. I mean, we're almost there. They'll hold pretty steady throughout the afternoon. Lower 60s in the hill country. And then tonight, with those clear skies, we're down to 38 here in San Antonio by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Sending kids with jackets tomorrow. They'll need it for at least the first half of the day. And I think we could even see a light freeze in places like Kerrville and maybe even down to Bernie. So heads up there. It'll be a light freeze, but a freeze nonetheless. As we look at the satellite picture, it is cleared out completely. The clouds are now out towards Houston and moving away. This big storm system, which covers so much real estate across the country, is still churning here. You see the spin right there. On the backside of it, you've got blizzard-like conditions in South Dakota. Very heavy snow, gusty winds, rain out ahead of it, and then we've got the severe weather. Yesterday, unfortunately, there were quite a few tornadoes, and sadly, 2 fatalities in Louisiana from a tornado. We even had 1 touchdown in the Dallas area. Now that severe weather is spreading east, and look at these tornado warnings. You see them here, the outlined in red. There are several of them across parts of Louisiana and now moving into Mississippi. So this is going to be another busy severe weather day in this area, and we likely will get more tornado reports. It's setting up that way. As far as our forecast is concerned, well, we're going to kind of race through this pretty quickly because there's nothing to show you. Wednesday, Thursday, sunny skies. It's going to be clear and beautiful. It's not until Friday that we start to see some changes, and that comes in the form of clouds starting to feed in. I think by Friday afternoon, you'll start to see a lot more cloud cover. And this is Friday at 7 o'clock. We go cloudy, and those clouds hold for most of the weekend and into early next week. Will they yield any rain? Probably not until Saturday. There's a 20% chance there. I'd say Saturday it's going to be light stuff, not much, but there is a chance. Sunday will be mostly cloudy, and then it's Monday as we get another piece of energy in here where our rain chances are perhaps a little bit better, 30% during the day on Monday. And this will be a cool rain, not a cold rain, but a cool rain. Temperatures will be a low 50s Saturday, mid 50s Sunday, and upper 50s on Monday. In the meantime, 67 tomorrow, cooler on Friday as those clouds move in. And as I mentioned, quite a bit of cloud cover Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even into Tuesday morning. And then what happens beyond that? We were talking a little bit about it. Some cold air perhaps as we get towards Christmas time. But we're going to take another look at that and look at the extended forecast coming up in just a bit, guys.
Thanks, Justin.
The Roadrunners putting together their game plan for Friday afternoon's big bowl game and a send-off for the state champion contenders, the Port Pirates. Coming up. After the season they have had, winning Conference USA, the UTSA Roadrunners still a 1.5-point underdog when they face the Troy Trojans this Friday afternoon in Orlando in the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl. The reason these two teams are so close in what they have been able to accomplish this season, they are both conference champions. They both have 11-2 records, and the Roadrunners and the Trojans are on a 10-game winning streak. Roadrunners have gone through their first workout in Orlando at a local high school. They are ranked 12th in the nation in scoring at 39 points per game. Trojans head coach John Summerall gave the Roadrunners offense a major compliment.
I'm a defensive-minded head coach. I usually look for, where's the weakness, all right, of a team, and I don't see it. And their strengths are many. It does start with the quarterback. He is a phenomenal player. But they're extremely explosive. So good scheme, good players, dynamic. It's as good of an offense as we've played all year. I mean, we've played some good teams. We played Ole Miss game 1. I think this is the best offense we played this entire season.
Wow, pretty high praise. For UTSA, Friday will mark the last time they'll represent Conference USA before joining the American Athletic Conference next season. So does that resonate with them at all? One last shot to send a Conference USA team out on top.
I feel like we already did that in a way because we left with the conference championship, and I feel like that was a big accomplishment for us.
We never won a bowl game, program history, never finished in the top 25. We never beat a top 25 team. So it's a lot of things out there for us still, and we're going to go out there and put a chip on our shoulder. And like I said, it's going to be a great test for us.
Like Daddy said, we finished with the conference championship. It'd be a great thing to go finish with our first bowl win too, especially heading into the new conference, just have that momentum for next season.
Once again, that game is Friday, and while the UTSA Roadrunners are in Orlando, the University of the Incarnate Word Cardinals are preparing for their FCS semifinal in Fargo, where they are set to face the North Dakota State Bison this Friday night with a chance to go to the championship game. It's cold in Fargo. This is the second meeting between these two schools, with the Bison shutting out the Cardinals back in 2014, 58-0. But this is a much different team since that meeting 9 years ago. That's after the Cardinals beat second seed Sacramento State in Sacramento last weekend, 66-63, in the highest scoring game in FCS playoff history. But remember, North Dakota State is coming off its 17th national championship and is fourth in defense against the pass, while UIW is number 1 in scoring.
It's exciting. It's kind of my motto this year is that, treat every game like the last. It'd be naive of me to say that, there aren't some implications here that are very important to this team. It's blessed to be in this position, and just trying to do a good job of just preparing like any other week.
We've been preparing for this since January, since I got here. So, we knew what the stake was. We knew what the goal was. So, most of us are not surprised that we're here. So we're all just trying to, just seize the opportunity.
All right, kickoff Friday night, set for 6 o'clock. For the first time in school history, the Brittany Greyhounds will be playing for the state championship in Class 4A Division I when they meet China Spring in the AT&T Stadium in Arlington this Friday night, and they will do so with another first in school history, an undefeated 15-0 record, and ranked number 1 in 12's top 12 sub-5 poll. That's after arguably their best game of the season when they shut out Chapel Hill in the Alamo Dome on Friday, 35-0. At the same time, China Spring brings a 14-1 record into this matchup after edging out Decatur 33-27.
We played very well together, and that's our thing. We play together. And we've been just doing this ever since the summer, and we've been really working on just being more physical than our opponent. When we got to this game and we won, it really hit me. I was just so proud, and I can't wait to go play in Arlington, and we're playing a good team, so we're going to have to bring the fight to them.
All right, kickoff in Jerry World is Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And Poth is also headed to North Texas. This is their big send-off, fit for a Pirate. Poth is 14-1. They take on Gunter, 15-0. That's tomorrow afternoon at 3 AT&T Stadium. It is the 3A Division II Championship, so good luck to both of those teams on Thursday and Friday. And the Spurs tip off at 7 o'clock tonight against the Portland Trailblazers here at home.
Nice to have two teams going into the state championships.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Always. All right, we're going to take a look at a story about a search for a suspect that came to an end in a field, how cows helped police wrangle this suspect.
And we all got to eat, but how about doing it in style? We are talking gift ideas for those chefs, both professional and amateur in your life. Find out the kitchen gadgets you can buy for $20 or less to help your cooking. That's today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.